It is also well known that people see the world not as it is, but as they are. Or we see other people not as they are, but as we are, or as we want them to. We compare other people to how we want them to. We compare other people to ourselves. And so, of course, it makes it very difficult to see clearly. And so also part of this art here that I'm proposing, or the art of learning, or life is learning, or realize to actualize, is about that, the ability to see each other clearly. And of course that begins with the ability to see ourselves more clearly, realistically and objectively. Not as we want ourselves to be or as we like ourselves to be. We're only seeing what we want to see, but of course through this, well, we don't see clearly. That mirror that we all represent is foggy. And again, if somebody holds up that mirror, which we all represent that mirror, and the reason for why we argue with people or why feelings get hurt in relationships or people even break off relationships is because they don't like what they see in the mirror of another person. Why do people not like each other? Why do people argue with each other and fight each other? Because they don't like what they see. But what we misunderstand is that what we see in the other person, it reflects back something within ourselves that is actually very important to look at. Because love is all there is. And in love we embrace everything and everyone. And we know that everyone is an extension of who we are. So if we only accept certain people in our lives who are likable and who we like to be around because we like what we see when we look into their eyes, when we look into their mirror. But other people we reject and we fight and we argue with because we don't like them. For whatever reason, which we don't even know many times. We just know when it's something that irks us about another person or makes us uncomfortable. It's like, go away. I don't want to have anything to do with you. But this is actually very, well, superficial or symptomatic of the deeper problem, which is we only see what we want to see. So what I'm suggesting here is just to start looking, to simply look at others, to really see people for who they are. This is actually one of the greatest opportunities for all of us to learn about ourselves, or to get to know the other person, through which we get to know ourselves. Because every time we reject somebody on the basis that we do not like them, or we do not agree with them, or they somehow make us feel uncomfortable, and if we just reject them on that basis, well, not only don't we won't get to know them, but we're rejecting a part within ourselves because we just ignore something that we don't want to look at. But the ability to see things as they are is really something that is, I think, very, very important in order to make peace in this world. Of course, it starts making peace within ourselves, and then to make peace between ourselves and others. Don't just try to tell the other person you should change, or you should be different, or stop being this way. Get out of my face. Just be there. Just be present and see what's happening inside of you. And then to learn to, well, take a breath first of all. And to not just react to what you perceive to be an attack. Or don't just react to something that you don't like with negativity and hostility and blaming the other person, and then also attacking the other person, or getting defensive. Because that's the reason for why there are arguments between people that many times escalate in aggression, violence, hurt feelings, the end of a relationship. We can use that instead of having this result in the breakup of a relationship. We can use it as an opportunity to actually get to know each other better and to learn about each other. Because what is love really, if you think about that? It definitely is not just being around somebody only because they make you feel good. And, oh, it's so wonderful. And I love you because you're just so great. Of course, we all want that. Because it's so easy. It's so simple. And it feels so great. But love really starts, or relationships really begin when there are problems. And no, I'm not saying that you should surround yourself with people who are difficult and then to test your ability for love, which, in all honesty, you could do that if you like. But what I'm really saying here is that when there's a challenge in any kind of your relationship, in your relationship with your spouse or your loved one or your child, or your husband or your boss or whoever it is, just try to be present and not blame the other person for whatever you think, even however you think you might be justified for that. Just be present and just allow and be at peace and open yourself up to learning, which is a matter of trying to understand what the other person means right now, where they're coming from. Why are they upset? Why are you upset? I don't take it personal. If I take it personal, I cannot understand it. Then I throw it back in your face and then we argue. But if I just let it be, and I just be present, I can make the effort to understand it. And I can learn something from this experience. And actually through this, our relationship can become stronger. And that is the real test of any relationship. That's the real test of love. Which again, is not just a matter of, oh, you're so wonderful, I just love you, you're so great. I want to be with you all the time because you make me feel so good. Of course, we all want that. I mean, who doesn't? I want that. But then also I've realized that this, and that's, I guess, the reason for why we say love makes blind. Because when we only look at what we want to see and how wonderful that person makes you feel, we don't see the other sides, the other parts we don't want to look at. And these other parts in another person that irk us, that irritate us, that make us feel uncomfortable, it's something that triggers us. Something in us is triggered why we are uncomfortable. It's because of something within ourselves. Why we are angry. Why am I upset right now with you? It's not really about you. It's because of something that you trigger in me. And I really need to look at that in order to understand it, in order to heal it. And that is really what love is about. It's unconditional. And it's everlasting. It never ends. And that is the love that I want. That's the love I want to give. And it's also the love I am, looking for. But more than just looking for, it's the love that is, because that's real love. That's also what Realize to Actualize is about, is what is real. Real communication. Real relationships. Real love. That's also the nature of love. It's our real nature. It's not the nature that was conditioned when we were conditioned to just function like machines in this world and to just produce and just get more and money and market which we serve, the system we serve. But it's about our real nature which connects us to all. And that's who we are, and that is love. The test of any relationship, and I mentioned that earlier, is really when things are difficult. Sometimes people can be challenging. And sometimes you yourself can be challenging. I know I sometimes can be challenging. But then I've also come to find that's exactly the time when I would like for somebody to be there who's present, who's not turned off, who's not upset over what I'm saying or making a silly comment maybe, or maybe even saying something that might be a little bit hurtful, or I didn't really think about what I was saying. But instead of taking this personal, just be present in order to just learn me. Just get to know me. And when you do that, you will actually understand, you will see yourself in me. And you will see actually that I'm not very different from you at all. Actually, I'm just another you. And you are just another me. And that's really what it means, that we are all one, what we are about. And that's what nature is. And that's how out of which everything grows. And that's love. And we all are that. We just have learned so much here because it's everywhere. But the new world, the new consciousness is based upon the idea that we are love, you are love, and that is nature, and that connects all of us.